Hey, what's up? My name's Adam. Welcome to the video. I did a 3-year-long commercial graduate scheme which I've now completed, and I have a second promotion just around the corner. Today I'm going to share how I went from only having making sandwiches at Subway as experience to going to a really full CV and using all that experience to get my top choice graduate scheme. Throughout your application and the interviews, they're going to ask you competency-based questions. Tell me a time you've worked in a team. Tell me a time you've overcome an obstacle. Tell me about a big decision you've made recently. Really what they're doing is assessing whether you've got the certain skills and behaviors that they're looking for. Even when they ask you a question like, why do you want to work for this company? Why do you want this role? It's best to bring your answer to life through drawing upon your past experiences. The problem you're going to face if you have no or little experience, you're going to be stuck telling group work exercise examples from university, which is okay, but to really shine in an application, you want to stack all the experiences up to really position yourself as a strong candidate. In this video, I'm going to share the kind of jobs and experiences that you can go and get right now, very quickly and easily. I've ordered it 1 to 10. Number 1 being literally as soon as you finish this video, you smash like, you can go start applying for this kind of role. Number 10 is going to take a little bit more effort, and if you're struggling to get your dream job or a job you're applying for because you don't have the right amount of experience they're asking for, you may be jumping all the way to 10, and you might have to, and you might be better putting your energy into taking steps 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. So that's enough background, that's enough context. Let's just get into it. The first experience is charity and volunteering work. You can go and get this right now. Whatever stage of your career and life you're at, I think everyone should have some charity work on the CV. Me personally now, this lives at the bottom of my CV in other commercial experience. But for you, if you don't have much or any experience, make sure this is displayed proudly on your CV. So for me, I stewarded at Bestival, which is a festival in the Isle of Wight, and 2, I volunteered at Sheffield Live, which is a local radio station. The reason I stewarded at Bestival is literally I wanted to attend it for free, but I didn't put that on my CV. I put that I raised over £100,000 or helped to raise over £100,000 for poverty alleviation as part of Oxfam. And for Sheffield Live, I just wanted the prospect of maybe being on radio, and I handed out a couple of beer mats to a few pubs in Sheffield. But I didn't put that on my CV. I put that I helped in sales and marketing, helping spread awareness of the local radio station in Sheffield. Number 2 is entrepreneurship and business. There are 1,000,001 ways to make money from your bedroom nowadays. So if you're struggling for someone to hire you, create your own opportunity and hire yourself. Also, you don't have to create your own business. Find a friend or a family member who's starting a business. Maybe you can volunteer or get paid little or just try and work something out with them. They can give you a good title, they can get experience on your CV and a good reference, and just help a friend or a family member out. For me, I bought £2 white t-shirts, Fruit of the Loom t-shirts. I tie-dyed them and sold them for £10 on eBay, and I made a few £100. I rounded that profit up to the nearest 1,000 and put that on my CV. But this is going to look better, creating your own business, giving your own title, show your initiative, showed you're prepared to do whatever it takes to get experience and get some money. And obviously as you get better experience, more senior, you get a proper job, this can come off, or you can just remove it to other commercial experience at the bottom. You can do photography, website development, social media marketing, have your own podcast, your own YouTube channel. You can bake cakes and sell them on Instagram. You can go to car boot sales and flip stuff on eBay. Whatever it is that you want to do, try and make it in a similar industry or a similar role to what you eventually want to do. I chose selling t-shirts because I wanted to work in sales eventually. Number 3 is university modules. So you likely on your CV, and if you don't, you should, have an academic section on your CV that lists your GCSEs, your A-levels, and your university degree. But what you may not have done with your academic section, which likely should be at the top if you're just starting your career, you may not have called out specific modules that you've done that are really relevant to the role and industry that you're applying for. So even me, I was applying for commercial graduate schemes with a biology degree, which on the surface is pretty irrelevant. But when I was applying to oil and gas companies and energy companies, I would call out modules in environmental science and sustainability that I studied. When I was applying for Coca-Cola, Weetabix and Unilever, I called out that I did a module in food security. And that was the motivation behind wanting to work for a food company. Some of these things, a little bit of a stretch, but if you're struggling to flesh out a CV, call out specific academic achievements you've done that are particularly relevant to that role or industry you're going for. Number 4 is retail work. So later on in your career, you won't be talking about that time you waited a couple at Nando's. But right now, if you're a student, you're a graduate, you're at school, doing retail work part-time alongside all of that is completely fine, it's completely expected. All the recruiters and companies will know that you've not really had the amount of time to get a proper job on your CV, particularly when they ask you questions about a difficult customer interaction you've had. If you've had a retail work for a couple of shifts, you will 100% have a funny story to tell about a very difficult customer. When I was applying for graduate schemes, I only really mentioned once a customer interaction I had working at Subway, doing an 8-hour shift on a Saturday, dealing with hundreds of customers, really intense hard work for 8 hours straight. But like I said at the start, it's about stacking experiences up. So even if you only mention this once, it still will give you another example to draw upon. And trust me, getting retail work requires you to have no past experience, maybe just a little bit dependent on where you want to work. Now we want to use our retail work and springboard onto what will be entering into the realm of proper jobs. And I'd recommend that you work for a call center or a contact center. These unfortunately aren't the most inspiring environments, so the staff turnover is pretty high, which means they always have to hire people. And you can get these with really little past experience, sometimes with no previous experience. My recommendation is just do this over summer, Christmas or an Easter break. Try not to get stuck in these call center environments. There's nothing wrong with it. There'll just be a lot of people there who started, who had intentions to work there for a couple of months as a stopgap and got stuck there. But for someone like you, if you're gonna have to work over Christmas anyway or over summer, you may as well make it a little bit higher paid and get some good experience, a proper job on that CV. The reason this experience is really good is you get constant customer interactions, you can get hired pretty quick, pretty easily. Every single city will have a call center of some sort, and it's a really good way to get some customer facing experience on your CV, and it's your first probably taste of a proper job. One of my very good friends who completed the BT graduate scheme actually started his career after university in the BT call center. They recommended he applied for the graduate scheme as an internal candidate. A couple of applications later, he got that graduate scheme. So don't think and have these ideas that you're above doing call center work. You know, it's a really good stopgap to get some experience, and just treat it as that springboard onto getting your dream job or starting your dream career. Now we're going to take another step up, and this is an entry-level role into the industry you want to apply for. So if you want to be a lawyer, the equivalent to this would be a paralegal, which is like lawyer admin. I was applying for sales and marketing, commercial graduate schemes. So I got a sales admin assistant for 18K a year as my entry-level role. I did pretty well at it, so after 5 months I got a promotion into business development manager and ended up earning, my full year earnings were just over 24K. So this might not be the role you really want, you might not be paid as much as you like, but it's a good way to get a step in the door for the role or the industry and the career you eventually want to start. Over a period of a few months, I've gone from a 20-year-old who's only got making sandwiches at Subway on his CV to having a volunteering and charity work, to having modules called out that are really relevant to the industry, being a sales admin assistant, a telesales rep, and a business development manager in the space of just a few months. And now I've got a really strong CV that I'm able to apply now for my graduate schemes that I really want. The next experience is an internship or a placement year. And if you're a real top performer in academia, you went to Cambridge and Oxford or a red brick uni, you got a straight A student, or you're on track to get a first class mark in your degree, you might be able to skip straight away to the internship with very little experience, but they still are very competitive. The process is very similar, if not the same, to getting a graduate scheme, and there will be hundreds of applicants you've got to outcompete, so you've got to have something that sets you apart still. I never did an internship because I only started getting really serious about having a proper career in my 20s, and at that point it made much more sense for me to get an entry-level role. But if you're in your first year, your second year, maybe even your third year, you might be best placed doing a summer internship at a big kind of FTSE 100 company. Internships are really good because they're pretty much week-long interviews. As long as you don't mess it up, which I think is pretty hard to, you'll probably get an offer for their graduate scheme if they offer one off the back of an internship. And a lot of people, I would say 10 to 20% of everyone on the scheme started on their internship. I'd recommend doing a summer internship over a full placement year. The reason is they don't really pay that well. For my entry-level role for a tiny company just doing sales admin, I got paid up to that 24K mark. That is at the top end of what a placement year is going to pay you. I do appreciate you don't do internships and placements for the pay. However, I do think you're going to do the work, you're going to turn up every day. I think you should be paid, you know, a certain amount for the kind of work you're doing. Nothing wrong with a placement year. I know people who've done it. I know people who are still on it. I'd really recommend it. But if you have the option between just doing 8 or 12 weeks at a summer internship, I would take that over a full year. It only looks a little bit better on a CV to do that full year because you still get that brand on your CV, you still get a reference, and you still got some stories to tell when they ask you competency-based questions. This is what it's been working towards, and this is your dream career. This is your dream graduate role, a graduate scheme for a big company. This is what it's been working towards. Everything before this has just been a job or experience. This now is starting your career. And to get a graduate job or a graduate scheme that's really high paid for the top performers, and you're going to have to outcompete a lot of people, you're going to have to recognize that you're playing a game, and you're going to have to play that game well to get an offer. Unfortunately, the best candidates don't always get offered the job. It's the person who recognizes they're playing a game and gives the assessors exactly what they're looking for. If you do need some help with some resources to practice, you want to have a look at the mark schemes, similar to what they're going to be assessing you against, practice some numerical and verbal reasoning tests. There's a link in the description to the resources I used. I reached out to this company and asked them to create me an affiliate link. It is an affiliate link, I do get a kickback. So if you do want to support the channel, help me out, but also help yourself out, you know, please use it. If you don't want to pay, there's a ton of free resources. Look, I just wanted to get this link sorted out because these resources were super helpful for getting my top choice offer. If I was going to apply for the big accountancy firms in London, this is how I'd go about it. Number one, I would get the experience volunteering, so I'd shadow an accountant, or I would volunteer to help with the books of a small company. Then I would get some customer service experience, either retail or a contact center. Accountancy firms, they're just managing the books of customers, so you need that kind of account management level skills. Customer service, contact centers, retail work, it's a really good step in the door for face-to-face customer interaction. Then I would, in my degree, call out the more analytical, statistical modules I've done, show them you've got the skill set to crunch numbers. Then I would do an entry-level role, could even be a receptionist in accountancy, try and negotiate 10 to 20% of your time to work on something a little bit more exciting in that accountancy firm, if that exists. But at minimum, even if you've just been a receptionist, it will show that you can work in that environment. It's cemented that that's still where you want to work. Then do an internship, one of the big 4 accountancy firms in London. And if you've done all of that, getting a grad job, a graduate scheme, if you've got all of that on your CV, which you can get over a period of a few months, will look really good, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get a job offer, and a company will be lucky to have you. The reason I'm making this video is if you have little to no experience, but you still want to reach high and get a really well-paid graduate job or an entry-level business role, it can be done, but what you might have to do is just take a few months or a year to get some really good experience, boost that CV, really flesh it out, and apply strong to that graduate scheme. The reason I make this video is if you're applying, you're not making any progress, you might just have to be prepared to start from the bottom and work your way to the top. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please smash like to the video, subscribe for more grad wisdom. I've got a ton of other videos that are coming. If you want some grad resources, there's an affiliate link in the description. Please use it. It will certainly help you out, and it helps me out too. It's an affiliate link, so yeah, please use it. Comment below. Are you a student? You're a graduate? You're a director of a company? I really want to know who's watched this video, so please do comment below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Boom.